All right, guys, this is Casey Israel, and we're going to talk about what the hell's going on with the WWE lately. They just released a bunch of people, good talent. Oh gosh, Rhodes, something's going on with your audio, bro.
Oh, that's probably my fan. Hold on. Yeah, I had my phone next to my fan.
Okay.
Sounds better now.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, 100 times better.
Yeah, I had my phone like right in front of my fan.
Oh yeah, 100 times better. So we had a bunch of releases. Also, the biggest one that I can't believe they got rid of was Aleister Black.
Honestly, the biggest shocker for me was Braun Strowman.
I was shocked that they released him too, especially he's a former Universal Champion. And, but, people like Lana, I'm not shocked. I was never a big person with Ruby Riott. And Murphy, once he left left from Seth Rollins, it was just not the same. I mean, yeah, he kind of did that thing with Rey Mysterio's daughter, and that just went fizzled out to nowhere.
Right.
And then you just hadn't heard anything from him. And then there's also rumors of more releases, and I'm hearing it could be like people like Keith Lee, who hadn't been on TV for a while.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, I heard Keith Lee and a couple other names that a couple of NXT people. Humberto Carrillo could possibly be getting the axe next, and there's a couple other names.
Yeah,
I was watching a certain streamer a certain guy from New York. I'm afraid to mention his name, or he might think we're talking bad about him. So,
no, God,
you know who I'm talking about, Casey. I was watching him earlier today. He did a live stream about this too. He was talking about the rumors of Humberto Carrillo, possibly Jeff Hardy. I'm hearing Jeff Hardy actually wants out of the company.
I don't blame him.
Possibly Humberto, possibly Keith Lee. I wouldn't be surprised about Keith Lee, since it seems like Vince doesn't really like him.
Well, I mean, he looks like he could be a major star. I mean, I don't know why you would want to get rid of him. And then there's rumors of probably Bray Wyatt as well. I mean,
that one I wouldn't be surprised about either, because they fired his brother in the last round of cuts.
Well, true, but Bo Dallas hadn't done jack for years. He was just like, I was shocked he was still hired all the way up.
I forgot he was even on the payroll.
I mean, was he even doing anything on NXT, or was he just?
He was probably just relegated to Superstars, which nobody watches.
Oh gosh, I don't watch that. I don't watch Superstars, or was that one Main Event?
Yeah, Superstars and Main Event. Yep.
And I don't watch that garbage. I mean, Raw's already horrible as it is.
Yeah, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW. That's more than enough wrestling for me.
Well, there are rumors going around saying with those big cuts lately, and with this one dude, I guess what's his name is Nick Khan, going around making cuts and consolidating departments, that they're thinking the WWE might be up for sale.
Yeah, that's what everyone's speculating right now, and it is kind of making sense, because the more unwanted contracts they get rid of, the easier it would be to sell the company. It would be less contracts that they would have to renegotiate, under new management and everything else. Less talent they would have to worry about, until once the sale goes through, that they could do whatever after that. So that's the biggest rumor. That's the biggest rumor going around. And shit. And right now, it seems like it makes the most sense.
Well, I think there's more signs pointing towards that direction. I mean, one, look where the WWE's network is right now. They have that sign with Peacock right now. They're not
Raw's on USA, which is all owned by
NBC
Universal, and stuff like that. So
I wouldn't doubt.
I made my camera bigger, and I don't even know how I did it.
So I wouldn't doubt it would be like NBC just takes over the whole. Universal NBC just takes over the whole thing, and then they just ride out SmackDown on Fox until their contract's done.
Well, I've been hearing from what I've been watching earlier today that if this happens, if NBC Universal buys it, they might hold off on the official purchasing of it until the contract with Fox for SmackDown runs out.
See, I'm wondering how long that contract is. Usually, those contracts, I believe, are 5 years.
Yeah, well, they're already halfway through the SmackDown contract. This year will be
right in the middle.
This year they will be through their second year, so it'll be starting their third year in October.
And there's just bad signs everywhere. I mean, what people like Braun Strowman and Aleister Black, they were just had bad booking. I think they could, at one time, Braun Strowman was red hot.
Well, Vince doesn't really like NXT. So if there's any way he can kill NXT, he will.
See, the thing is, I don't know why, because they're pumping out new wrestlers. They're pulling people from the indies. They're giving their little WWE spin or the NXT spin. They're actually getting traction. And then when they go from NXT to the main roster, they go straight to shit.
Well, that's because Vince, if he doesn't make them a star himself, then he doesn't like them. He'll fucking shit on them.
Uh-oh. I lost you for a second. I think I'm. Yeah, I don't know what. I don't know why.
No, I was saying that if Vince doesn't make stars himself, then he just doesn't really care for these big names that are being created elsewhere and are being brought into his company. Even if Triple H makes stars down in NXT, it's not Vince doing it himself. So how many times has Triple H expressed his dissatisfaction for the way some of his guys have been used once they got called up from NXT?
Yeah. I mean, it's not helping, though, with the ratings on NXT on USA either. But, I mean, no one's taking NXT seriously. I mean, it's not like a full brand. Everyone knows even though it's the better product, it's the training ground for the main rosters. It's right. The development roster. So it's not like they actually have, this is your world champion here for NXT. It's not like ECW where they called their ECW world champion, but it was still it was their C show.
Well, they did say that once NXT went to USA, it would be their official third brand. So they're not treating it like the developmental anymore, but at the same time, they kind of are.
Yeah, it still is though. I mean, they take people and they could say that it's not their development, but unless they just treat it more like as a world brand, like Raw and SmackDown, it's still their triple A, you know.
Right.
So, and Triple H really needs to be running the show with Stephanie McMahon behind him. But just
well, I think if the WWE does get sold, I think Stephanie and Triple H are going to stay on, but Vince is obviously going to back off. But at the same time, Vince might still run the company through them.
And I was watching some of Joe Cronin, and he brings up.
He went live earlier. I was watching him for a little bit.
And he was bringing up a good point. Maybe someone comes in as a partner, and they can put big money behind it. And let's say someone like NBC puts like a 49% partnership in there, and helps them even push their brand even further, But, or even, people always say, what about Disney? But I don't see, Disney's
just... technically Disney does own part of Fox, and Fox has SmackDown right now, so
yeah.
Disney's kind of got their foot in the door if you think about it.
Yeah, but I don't know if Disney would do that. I mean,
I wouldn't want to see Disney own the company completely, that's for sure, because you might as well not even have a wrestling company at that point, because they wouldn't allow anything.
Oh, yeah, go straight to... If people bitch about it, it's all Hollywood right now. Imagine if Disney does get it. I mean, yeah, the Marvel movies are awesome, especially their series they've been doing are awesome. But look what they did with Star Wars. I mean, even though I don't really have a problem with the later trilogy than most people, I mean, they did right with the Mandalorian, but a lot of people shit on the third trilogy of Star Wars. So I'm thinking it's got to be a big name like NBC, especially after they got the WWE Network under Peacock for at least 5 years.
Yeah, well, that just started in April, so.
Yeah.
So we're right in the thick of that first year. We got a long way to go.
So I'm thinking most likely it's either NBC Universal is probably going to pick them up, or they're going to get a huge backing from them. But I don't know. It's just looking weird. I mean, it shocks the shit out of me about Braun Strowman and Aleister Black getting released, especially after Aleister Black got like a reboot, and they're about to re-debut him. Or did he re-debut this past Friday?
Yeah, he interfered in that match with Big E. He cost Big E the Intercontinental title in that last match that he had against Apollo Crews. And that was, I think, 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago. It wasn't last Friday's SmackDown. I think it was the one before that.
Okay.
But, they were going to start a storyline there, and then now Aleister Black is gone. So what's the point? Where does Big E go from here? He can't feud with himself.
No, and especially, like, if you're watching Raw, it's just the same matches over and over and over. And the best thing on Raw right now, I would have to say, is Randy Orton. And,
yeah, the RK Bro stuff.
Well,
They're
I'm
probably
just
the
saying.
best bits of Raw too right now.
I mean, Randy Orton himself. I mean, yeah, I like Matt Riddle, but even Matt Riddle during this whole stoner deal is getting a little. I'm getting sick of it already.
That's not a gimmick though. That's him. That's him in real life.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny, but I know he's a stoner in real life, but it's just, I don't know. I'm sure it's kind of like what they did with Rob Van Dam. He could talk in ECW, but in the WWF, and they made him like have no opinion. He just couldn't talk for shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just WWE's up to something. They're up something big because we, like Joe Cronin and Jake DeMarco says, they're not in no way, shape, or form of hurting for money. Even not going on the road and doing like those Saudi Arabia shows, they're still making buttloads of money pretty much from the USA.
Well, I think they'll probably restart the Saudi stuff next year because COVID is pretty much, it's not dead, but I mean, most of this country is reopened 100% now.
Pretty much.
A lot of the mandates and rules and stuff have been taken away. So it's kind of like things have really started to go back to the way they were, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Before this even happened.
Exactly.
So they technically still have to fulfill that deal. It was suspended because of the travel bans and whatnot because of the virus for the past year and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
So they still have, and they just renewed that deal, right? It was right before the lockdowns actually happened last year. So they still have like 7 or 8 years that they have to go out there still.
Yeah, they only completed 2 years of it.
Now, who knows if the WWE is sold before that deal is up, the new owners can maybe find a way out of it and say, no, we're not doing this. That's possible, but I don't know. I don't know how they can go about doing that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those are contracts, but contracts are also meant to be broken as well, though.
No, that's promises, not contracts.
Well, they look. If you have good lawyers, especially like the WWE, they'll put something in there where, like, okay, we gotta get out of this. I mean, shoot, look what they do with the wrestlers. They're like, they don't even wait for their contracts to be ended to get rid of them. They'll release them.
Well, yeah, but they still have to be paid the remainder of their contracts.
No, they get only 90 days of their contract.
No, that's a 90-day no-compete clause after they're fired.
Yeah, but they don't.
So let's say like Braun Strowman had like 2 more years on his contract and he was just fired today.
Yeah.
Vince has to pay him out the remainder of his contract as if he was still in the company. Only he has to get paid on the one shot. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with sports too. Like when a baseball player, if a baseball player gets fired, and let's say he still has a year or 2 on his contract, he gets paid out too.
Oh, that's different though. I mean, those are. WWE puts it in the contract. So when they get fired, they're done, except with their 90 days no compete clause.
Right, but like I said, if they have a remainder on their contract left, they have to be paid their contract regardless.
No, I'm gonna just have to agree to disagree about that. But I'm not trying to argue. I just think that they pretty much. I'm just going to disagree with you on that.
I mean, you
But
can disagree with me all you want, but hey, I'm a sports guy, so I know how that works when it comes to those kinds of contracts. I don't think in wrestling. I don't think they're any different.
I think they're completely different than sports contract. I agree. Like, if let's say football player gets fired, they still have to pay them their contract. I agree about that. But wrestling's, I think, is completely different with their contracts. But you know what? I still think there's something up about. They're about to do something big, and like even the Soul Monsters right now is pointing towards that direction.
Everybody is. Even Jim Cornette is.
And it's crazy. You figured the McMahon family would never give that up, right? You figured
Vince
that
is going to be, 76 years old this year. He probably, I'm sure he has pretty much lost his passion for the company a long time ago, which is why it's been as bad as it has been. And Triple H and Stephanie, maybe they don't want the responsibility of actually owning the company. Maybe they're comfortable in their positions they're in now. Maybe they don't want to actually own the company,
I bet they actually do. I mean, shoot, Stephanie stayed with the company while Shane was supposed to be the next guy in line, and then Stephanie came in, pretty much snuck up. And then Shane left, and yeah, he came back, but I don't even think Shane has any stake in the company still.
Wow. The way I see it is, I don't, because if Triple H or Stephanie, ended up being the next owner of the company, then they would have so much more responsibilities that maybe they just don't want. Maybe they're comfortable in their current role and they don't want to own the company and they don't want to do all that extra work. That's possible.
But I feel like maybe Triple H would like to do it because, I mean, he loves working with NXT. You figure with the bigger brand like Raw and SmackDown, or even the WWE itself, you figure you want to run that. I mean,
yeah, but we don't know how they're feeling, but it's a possibility that they just don't want to own the company.
Oh,
they're comfortable in their roles, and maybe that's just it. Maybe they just want to stay where they are.
Yeah, I agree with that. So it's definitely going to be interesting. I'm wondering when we're going to hear about something like this.
Who knows, man? It could be, if they're going to be firing more people in a week or two, who knows? Maybe we could hear something before this year is over, before the end of the summer, maybe by SummerSlam. Who knows? Maybe it'll be next year.
And you know what? Here's another side. Talking about the summer, I mean, SummerSlam is not even, all we got is a date. We don't even have a location locked down.
Not yet. No, not yet, no.
So that could be another sign something's up.
Vince doesn't never book a pay-per-view like 2 months away from now and not have a location set, especially when they're going back on the road. Because right around now, he would be selling SummerSlam tickets.
Hold on. I just saw something from Joe. Let's see what it says. I'm not trying to steal his thing, but I saw something about WWE planned to copy Marvel about the cinematic universe. Huh.
Don't know how they pulled that off.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they would do about that. I mean, that makes no sense. I mean, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's just about a timeline of characters. So I don't understand how that would work. I would have to hear more details than that,
All I know is when it comes to everybody who just got released today, I don't want to see them all in AEW because honestly, I think AEW's got a lot of talent as it is. And if they're going to sign everybody, they're going to literally become the second coming of WCW, and they ended up folding because they had too much talent.
Well, I'm going to... Well, just saying about it, they probably don't need to pay them their WWE wages. Like Joe says, maybe pay them between $80,000 to $100,000 a year contract.
Yeah, but do you really want to see everybody who gets fired or leaves WWE and AEW? They have enough talent as it is. You know, they should build their own. They should build their own stars instead of scooping up everybody that gets fired from WWE.
I think the two people I wouldn't... honestly, I would like to see Aleister Black there. And then probably Buddy Murphy, because they got all those crucial...
Did you watch the same guy I watched earlier today? Because you're saying... You're repeating a lot of the points that he made.
Well, I'm bringing up some points I heard. I'm just saying, I'm hearing a bunch of points that making some sense, you know what I mean? That's why I'm saying people like Joe Cronin, the Solid Monster, and
I don't listen to Solid Monster, but I listen to Joe and the other guy with two letters in his name from New York.
I like him. I used to really like him, but he just seems like he's out there. But like you said, I'm to be careful about that. I have no problem
Casey,
with the
cut
dude.
My nose off.
You're gonna cut
my nose off.
See, what do you think about? I mean, how many
people? Off, Casey.
Cut it off. I mean, how many? We're hearing about all these releases, almost like semi daily. We go from the front office people to wrestlers.
Well, the front office people really not many people care about.
Yeah, but that's gonna
that guy that they tried out on Raw They got rid of that guy. What the fuck was his name?
Avon.
He had that weird ass name.
Avon something.
Yeah, Avon fucking fuck off, whatever the hell his name is.
He was horrible.
He sucked.
See, the problem is they'll hire these people and throw them right into the fire. I'm like, hold on. I'm like at least put them on like NXT. Like, look how good Wade Barrett's doing on NXT. Move his ass up to Raw and put these new dudes on NXT and let them get their feet wet.
Well, Wade Barrett wouldn't even be there if they were able to have Nigel McGuinness, but he's back in the UK because of the virus and traveling is still a bit restricted in some areas.
True, but I think Wade Barrett's okay. But gosh, I agree. I don't want to see all these people like Lana sucks. If she's gonna get hired, she straight up just
she's gonna go to AEW because Miro's there. Her husband's there.
Yeah.
Now will she wrestle? Probably not. I don't want to see her wrestle. She's not good at it.
No. Exactly.
She should just be a valet, like she started out as.
Exactly.
In WWE. She should go back to doing that in AEW.
And Ruby Riott, I was just not a big fan with her or her group. I mean, the only one
I didn't care too much about them either.
The only person I liked was Liv Morgan, and it's because she's hot. But I don't even think she's that good in the ring. And then, gosh, I mean, Buddy Murphy, he's good, but here's the thing.
He wasn't booked right.
No. He was doing good.
He had some good matches. He had some good matches in 205 Live and the Cruiserweight Classic and whatnot. He had a few. He had some good. he had a handful of good cruiserweight matches and whatnot, and he just wasn't booked right on the main roster because anybody that Vince brings up from NXT, he kills them.
Well, I
The
think
only
he was
one he
doing.
really treated well, the only ones he really treated well from NXT is like Charlotte Flair, obviously, because she's a Flair.
Yeah. Or some of the women.
Asuka, Bayley.
Or the women.
Banks for the most part. And he seems to be liking Matt Riddle right now, so he seems to be getting booked pretty decently.
It seems like he pretty much preferred the women from NXT than the guys.
How many guys has he killed? He's ruined Bobby Roode for the most part.
Pretty much, yes.
He ruined Finn Balor. He ruined...
Finn Balor's not ruined. They just kind of like, they just didn't put him in the right storyline, and they just they gave him a push. He got injured, and then they didn't give him his push back after that.
They killed Sanity. Eric Young and Killian Dane and those guys. He killed the Revival. He wasn't, now they're in AEW. He ruined Enzo and Cass. I mean, Vince didn't like Enzo for other reasons anyways, but still. He killed that tag team.
Well, they had a little bit of a run. I mean, not as a title run, but I thought they were doing okay on the main roster. It's when they split them up.
He killed the Forgotten Sons and fired one of them.
Yeah, and then
ruined them. And Elias and Jackson Riker, they're not being, they're not. They're not top guys, but I mean, they're looking to do stupid shit.
Yeah, they're looking awful. I mean, oh gosh, I'm trying to think. Was it the Dissension? Remember when they were in NXT? When they were in NXT, they were like unstoppable. They're like their top team, and then they went to Raw and they were garbage. And I feel like this is when all this shit started. Is with the Dissension. Or maybe, you know what? I would almost say even Bo Dallas as well. Before, I think it started with Bo Dallas and everyone who came from there. Except if you're a woman, he was okay with. But if you're a guy, you better impress him.
Not even a woman. He's ruined some women too. Like, who's he ruined? In the NXT women, he didn't book Kairi Sane all that well, and she left. She went back to Japan because she got sick of it. Nikki Cross, he pretty much ruined her.
Oh yeah, well, I didn't like her character anyways, though. I'm like, she was like a watered down version of Daphne.
I mean, Rhea Ripley is mad right now. I liked her more in NXT. I guess Bianca Belair is getting booked decently right now because she won the Royal Rumble and then won at WrestleMania. But aside from that, Shayna Baszler is definitely nothing like what she was in NXT. So I feel like they're ruining her character too.
You know what I'm thinking? It's possible they're going to cut. Think about this. 205 is... I bet 205 is going to be completely cut off, and then they're going to release all those wrestlers that are in the cruiserweight and deactivate the cruiserweight title.
Well, the cruiserweight title and the cruiserweight division is part of NXT.
Yeah, true, good point. But
I didn't even know the 205 Live was still a thing. I stopped watching it like maybe 10 episodes in when it first came out.
I believe it's still a thing, but they still have a bunch of cruiserweights, I believe. So I think they should just go ahead. They're not utilizing them at all. I mean, they're staying on NXT.
Well, they're in NXT. Triple H is using them.
Yeah.
For the most part.
So I see them being getting the axe next is getting rid of the 205 and the cruiserweights.
They're not going to get rid of the cruiserweights because they're part of NXT. If they were still part of the main roster, then yeah, they would be completely gone.
Well, the reason I'm saying, because NXT is already 2 hours. You put a third hour on NXT, it's just going to end up like Raw, you know?
No, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They're going to use the cruiserweights like they are now. They have, cruiserweight title matches during their NXT shows and during TakeOver once in a while. So they're just going to use the cruiserweights like they are now. They're not going to add a third hour for them.
But I'm just thinking there's obviously going to be more cuts, but it's leading to something.
Oh yeah, there's going to be more. One of the WWE insiders already said there's more to come. So,
but I'm just wondering what's going to happen. So, that's why when I saw this while I was at work and I was listening to some of the Joe Cronin show about it, and made me want to talk about it. And I knew one of the people I could talk about wrestling with on here is you. So I figured I just wanted to get that out. And one other thing I wanted to bring up, I want to talk about this is, look what we lost another big guy. Was a week or so ago, was the Velveteen Dream.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't give a shit about him really, anyways.
Oh,
I wasn't a fan of him.
Yeah, but he was over too. I mean,
people. He was until those allegations supposedly came out, which WWE apparently did their own investigation and didn't let him go. That wasn't the reason he was fired. So I'm guessing they deemed him innocent. But yeah, once those allegations started spreading, he was not very well liked anymore. But he was over for a little while.
See, the thing is, this is why I think if you get those allegations against you, and they're proven to be false, the person who throws that stuff at you, they should see some time for that.
Well, I mean, that's defamation of character and slander and.
Yeah,
those are felonies, or not felonies, but those are charges that you could sue somebody for.
Yeah, but I'd rather see someone see time for that. It's just like you get accused for something like that, it ruins your career. No one wants to do anything with you, and you're done. You have to go kind of like all the way back down to nothing. To the point, you're almost like you kill yourself because you can't find anything to do no more because you've been blackballed from the work you were doing to make money. So I would like to see people get arrested for that shit if they proven those were false allegations. I mean, if they're just made up bullshit, I would like to see that. But if there's like some grain of truth, but it was just proven innocent, fine. But like, if someone's like, they just photoshopped a bunch of DMs and they take it way out of context, I feel like there's, like you said, it's defamation of character and slander. But I mean, what are you going to get from a fan? You can only sue them for so much.
Well, you take them for what they're worth, especially if they're going to commit a crime like that.
Yeah.
Look at Enzo. I mean, that was the straw that broke WWE's back with him. They fired him as soon as the allegations came out. They didn't give him the benefit of the doubt.
Exactly.
They were already not liking him because he was obnoxious and everything backstage and on the, and on the tour buses and everything and the planes and whatnot. So they were already not really liking Enzo. And then when that came out, that was the end of it for him.
See, the thing is, that was weird. They hated him, but they still promoted him. like he was on air. So it's weird. He was still the cruiserweight champion when he got fired.
Was he? I thought he lost the belt.
Yeah.
I thought he lost the belt before he got fired.
No. He was still the cruiserweight champion when he got fired.
Dude, I can't believe that was already over 3 years ago.
I feel like it's definitely been like that. I mean, yeah, with the whole COVID, everything feels, well, it feels kind of both. It feels like it's shorter, but it's longer at the same time. Like when I got laid off, when I was looking for jobs, and then like I'll go do jobs on my computer and I'll find something and do applications, and then I'm done. I sleep and relax and do whatever I need to do for the next day. And it felt like quick, but I bet with the people who just was affected for over a year and a half, I'm sure it felt also long too. But yeah, I just want to talk about wrestling. So I want to just finish this up, and we're planning to talk about gaming. On
gaming stores, you know, our favorite. We're going to do a Patreon video in just a few minutes, I guess, and we're going to talk about gaming, like our gaming stores, like what our favorite gaming stores are to go video game hunting, and you know what kinds of games we look to buy when we go there.
Yeah.
And show you guys some pictures of some of the places.
I felt like this was the only time we actually, I'm not saying really argued, but we kind of disagreed on some stuff was with wrestling.
I mean, we didn't really disagree. You just disagreed with, you know, my way of thinking on how the contracts work.
Yeah. But we're all, most of the time, we're on the same page. Usually on everything, like gaming or what's going in the community. So,
speaking of the community, Drew might go live tonight if he can get, you know, help get his wife and his daughter situated for their vacation. If he has any time, he said he might go live tonight. He put out a poll on what people would want to see from him if he has any spare time tonight for a little while, and people want him to go live. So he might go live, he might not, you know, before he leaves tomorrow.
If I was him, I would just get ready for vacation. I mean,
He said he's packed and ready to go already, but he said to me, quote, "The girls might need some help." That's what he said.
The girls. I believe me, I know that's true. Like a lot of times when, oh gosh, like when my mom's like planning to go to like the hospital, she's like packs like 3 bags, like she's gonna live there from now on. I'm like, so I know that's for sure, but I get that kind of as well. Like I'll have one giant bag of clothes, and then I'll have another bag just with like electronic stuff to come with me.
Right.
So, but alrighty, I'm gonna finish this, and then we're gonna talk about gaming. So
when do you want to do the Patreon thing? Do you want to do it like a half an hour, or do you want to just like do it now?
I'm up for it. I might just grab a drink, but I'm ready for it.
All right, well, kill this call. You know, wrap that up so you can upload your video, and then I've got to turn my laptop on, and then we can do the Patreon video.
Okay. Well, let me do my call sign. I got this. I made this all up myself. For the Rose, I am Casey is Raw, and I'll catch your ass down the road.
Way to rip me off, Casey. Bravo.
I had to do that. All right. We'll see you guys.
See you guys on Patreon. Sign up for the Derailed Patreon.
Damn right.
patreon.com/derailed. No hyphen.
All right.
All right, Casey. I'll call you back in a few minutes.